Welcome back to Finding the Forgotten with Past Locate. In our previous episodes, you've gathered names, dates, and maybe some documents, but behind every record is a real person with a unique story. In this episode, we'll show you how to order birth, marriage, and death certificates, and how to work out if the people you've found are truly connected. Then, we'll bring those fragments together to build a complete picture of someone's life and how they may fit into your family history. Marie decides it's time to order the birth certificate for James Smith. She wants to confirm once and for all whether he is definitely the son of Molly and Thomas Smith. She heads over to the General Register Office website, logs in with her account, and selects the option to order a certificate. The site first checks that the record she's after is registered in England and Wales. It is. Next, she chooses birth from the list of record types and enters the year, 1966. Marie already has the GRO index details from FreeBMD, so she carefully types them into the form. Surname Smith, forename James. The quarter is Q1, the registration district is Worcester, volume 9D, page 391. Scrolling down, she sees the cost, £12.50 for an official copy. That's fine by her. This is her hobby and she's enjoying the challenge of uncovering the truth. She adds her own reference, family tree research, and submits the request. Before finalizing, she double-checks her account details. On the summary page, she realizes she might as well order a few more records while she's here. The marriage certificate for Molly and Thomas, Molly's birth certificate, and the marriage certificate for Nora and William Jones. Having these will give her a complete set of documents for her research. Once the payment is made, it's just a matter of waiting. In a few days, those certificates will arrive, and with them, perhaps, the next big breakthrough in Marie's investigation. Marie has now received her post, along with all the certificates she ordered. For our video, we're going to focus on one of them, the birth certificate of James. Zooming in, we can see that James was born on 11th of March 1966 at Ronkswood Hospital in Worcester. He's named James, and the certificate confirms he's a boy. His father is Thomas Smith, a council highway worker, and his mother is Molly Smith, formerly Jones. Thomas is the one who registered the birth, giving their address as 15 Portfields Close, Worcester. He registered it on 12th of March, the very next day, so he was clearly keen to make it official. Looking back at Marie's copy of the will for Nora Jones, we notice something interesting. The address for Molly Smith and Nora's grandson James is almost the same. The only difference is a small spelling error, Porterfield instead of Portfields, but it's clearly the same family. Curious to learn more, Marie searches for James on Ancestry, using the electoral registers for that address. She finds James Smith listed at 15 Portfields Close with his father all the way through to 2008. It seems the family stayed together in that house for many years, though by 2008 only Thomas and James were living there, suggesting Molly had passed away. After 2008, another name appears at the property. This leads Marie to check house sale records on the government's website and the popular property site Rightmove. She discovers the house was sold in 2008, meaning Thomas and James must have moved, or something else may have happened. Armed with these new facts, Marie returns to her spreadsheet. Previously, she only had years and places from FreeBMD, but now she can fill in the exact details from the certificates. Nora and William were married on 16th of May, 1945. Their daughter Molly was born on 22nd of September that same year. Molly married Thomas on 10th of September 1965. And James was born on 11th of March 1966. With the spreadsheet updated, Marie now has a much clearer picture, and the next step is to update her family tree on Family Search. When Marie began this journey of discovery, her goal was simple: To research her husband's family, Simon's mother had passed away when he was very young in 1990, and Marie wanted to fill in the missing pieces of that side of the family for him. At first, it all seemed straightforward. Simon's mum, Jane, was the only daughter of Sally and Jake. Sally, in turn, was believed to be the only daughter of Nora and Fred. The family story went that Nora had died when Sally was just a baby. But then Marie's research took an unexpected turn. While studying the 1939 census, she found Nora and Fred listed together, but Nora's surname, Cook, had been crossed out and replaced with Jones. This small detail suggested something quite different. Nora hadn't died in 1939 at all. Instead, it seemed she had remarried. Digging deeper, Marie discovered that Nora had in fact married William Jones and lived until 1973. From Nora's will, Marie learned even more. William was named as her husband, she had a daughter called Molly and even a grandson named James. It turned out Nora had 2 children in total. Tragically, her son died shortly after birth in 1946, but Molly grew up and went on to marry Thomas Smith. Thomas, Marie found, had 2 older siblings, Alan, born in 1928 and died in 1999, and Jane, born in 1933 and died in 2003. Neither of them had ever married. Thomas and Molly had 1 child together, a son named James. Molly and Thomas married in 1965, and James was born the following year in 1966. Sadly, Molly died in 1976, and Thomas in 2010. That left one burning question: what happened to James? Now more determined than ever, Marie set out to find him, the only living blood relative, apart from Simon's father John, on that entire branch of the family tree. Marie then makes a sad discovery. By simply Googling James' name and date of birth, she learns that James had actually passed away in 2023. That was a shock in itself, but what came next was even more surprising. James was listed on the Bona Vacantia list. Now, remember, this is a fictional story. But in real life, if you search for a person's name and date of birth, you may come across older versions of the Bona Vacantia list on various websites. And it's always worth checking because you might just find the name of a relative. At the time of recording this video, the official UK government Bona Vacantia list is temporarily offline due to a fraud investigation. However, if you do find a relative's name on one of these websites, it's really important to always go back to the official government site to get the correct next steps. Marie decides to order James' death certificate. From the government's guidance, she now knows that she'll need to gather a strong set of evidence: birth, marriage, and death certificates, along with other records to prove that Simon is related to James and therefore entitled to inherit his estate. This marks the beginning of a careful process of building a family tree with documents that can stand up to official scrutiny. Telling a coherent story isn't just satisfying, it's essential. When it comes to Bona Vacantia claims, you must be able to demonstrate how you're connected to the deceased and prove their life journey with documents and evidence. But it's not just about paperwork. Building this story preserves a person's memory and identity. They become more than just a name in a list. One of the first things Marie does is to create a clear relationship tree to support her claim. She maps it out step by step. Molly Jones was the half-sister of Sally Cook. Molly had a son, James. And finally, James' connection to Sally's grandson, Simon, becomes clear. By laying this out, Marie begins to turn family history into solid evidence that can unlock an inheritance. Reconstructing a life from paper records is more than research. It's a way of giving someone back their story and ensuring they're not forgotten, especially if you document it on a family tree app such as Family Search or Ancestry. In the next episode, if you have found a missing relative on the Bona Vacantia list, I'll show you how to bring together all the evidence you've gathered and take the first steps toward making a claim. Or, if you prefer, how to find professionals who can guide you through the process. So, if you haven't already, subscribe and join me on this journey. We're almost at the finish line.